Hey, this is Walter Jones.
This is Austin St. John.
And you're listening to
Ranger Danger.
In the podcasting life, they must fight to survive. Shackled by the chains of the past. They're the biggest of geeks, cause they watch every week. Subscribe to see if they can last. Go, go, Ranger Danger. We can't ever stop. Go, go, Ranger Danger. We will podcast till we drop. Probably forever. Yeah, whatever. Ranger Danger, Ranger Danger, Ranger Danger, Ranger Danger, Ranger Danger, Dino Charge.
G'day guys and welcome to Ranger Danger Dino Supercharge. This is the podcast where we watch Power Rangers Dino Supercharge and enjoy it, I think.
I mean, yeah, if you want to take the last couple of weeks as a pattern.
Yeah, more enjoy it than not enjoy it.
Yes, that is true.
So this is episode 8 of Dino Supercharge.
It
it's
is.
called Riches and Rags.
Both of them.
It's episode 817 of Power Rangers in total.
It is.
Tim's here.
I am.
Obviously. So Tim, this is the mid-season finale
Yes.
of Dino Supercharge.
It is.
So do you know what a mid-season finale is? Do you know how that works?
I mean, I can describe to you what it might be by using the powers of language,
Okay,
but
let's use the powers of language. I want to see this.
it's a finale in the middle of the season.
Yeah, so basically, as happens with regular TV shows tend to go on a hiatus over Christmas, because that's when the US non-rated, like, there's a break in between because no one watches, like, The Flash on Christmas Day.
No.
For some reason. I can't think of anything better. But, so
People seem to think they're busy with things.
they go on a bit of a break across the, like, Christmas-January period.
Yes.
And then come back.
Correct.
And then there's a non-ratings period in the middle of the year.
Yes.
Where no new shows are airing, generally.
Yes.
And then they start again towards the end of the year.
Correct.
So, Dino Supercharge, because it's on Nickelodeon, they are limited to doing 20 episodes a year.
Okay.
And the way that Nickelodeon chooses to air them is about 10 in the first half of the year and about 10 in the second half of the year.
Seems to make sense.
The last couple of years it's been closer to like 8 and 12 or sometimes even like 8 and 14 because we've got special episodes and stuff.
Yep.
But for the most part, so basically what's happening is the show will air this episode this week.
Sure.
And it won't air another episode until probably August or so.
Right, okay.
So it's quite a big gap, and it's
Sure
a bit
is.
of a bummer.
Yeah,
to be
it
honest.
is. It is.
I think the biggest bummer is that because of the way Nickelodeon's scheduling works, they don't necessarily tend to put a big episode before the mid-season hiatus.
Which doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, so for instance, last season in Dino Charge,
Yes.
we got, I want to say we got like the first part, maybe,
Oh god, really?
of a 3-part, like, connected... We'd been leading up to the Gold Ranger, and then there was a big, like, 3-part thing where, like, not connected parts, but a clear arc going over those episodes.
And they elected to split it over the break.
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the downsides is that Davy Santos, who's playing the Gold Ranger, had to keep it completely secret for another 4 months.
Yes.
Because they're keeping that kind of information under lock. They went to an awards show together and he couldn't go because they hadn't revealed who he was yet.
Ah, yes, okay.
So, like, there's all sorts of real bummers that happen.
When that's the case.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, don't expect, like, a season finale this week.
Okay, that's good. I mean, that's good information.
Expect probably just a regular episode.
Okay.
And I mean, to be honest, I'm not even sure what they could mid-season finale this season.
Look, it hasn't... It certainly doesn't feel like we've built in the sort of short to medium term to any kind of climax.
No, there was the stuff with Tyler's dad, but that's been resolved for weeks now.
Well, resolved and then ruined again by Keeper.
As always. I don't know, I guess the reveal of who the Silver Ranger is.
Or even a reference to it as a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and we know that it's coming next time would be how I might play it.
Maybe if Singe were to, like, I don't know, take over and then be defeated, like, he could be a couple of episodes worth of villain.
Sure.
But, yeah, there's definitely not an arc in the same way we had, like, who is the Gold Ranger, what's going on with the Gold Ranger, what's going on inside Fury's chest. It's obviously related to the Gold Ranger.
Yes, sure.
Like, we had a pretty clear thing that we were building to. And I don't know that I could say we have one here.
No, I would agree with you.
So, I don't know, it would be interesting to see what that big cliffhanger episode is.
Yeah, for sure.
4 months from now. But, as to this one, because they get shot so far in advance too, there's no way for them to fix it.
No, I suppose not, because the people who elect the schedules have no relationship with
They
any of
seem
the
to have no
programming.
interest in the show performing well either, which is just, it's fascinating. Like, I understand that Power Rangers as a show that Nickelodeon pays for,
Yes,
is lower on the priorities than shows Nickelodeon owns, right?
and I mean there is a logic there, but it is also a kind of counterintuitive logic.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, it seems like maybe you could just run Power Rangers for another 2 weeks.
I mean, yeah, that's what I think.
The other unfortunate thing is going to happen is while this hiatus is going on, many of these episodes will air in other countries around the world.
Right.
So, like last season, for instance, all of the rest of the episodes of the season had aired before we got to them in, like, France and Spain and...
Right.
So, if you were so inclined, it's possible to, like, find out what happens at the end of Dino Supercharge over the next couple of months before those episodes air.
Sure, because those are aired by networks with different distribution deals.
Who just buy the French rights to Power Rangers, and there's no clause that says Nickelodeon has to show it first.
Sure.
So we will be a spoiler-free. Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger will not spoil any Dino Charge.
Mm-hmm.
I guess unless, like, the big reveal at the end of the season is that all of the Mighty Morphin Rangers are back, or something that you guys will be unable to avoid.
Yes, that would come up anyway.
But we're not going to seek out any spoilers or
no, of course
anything
not.
like that. So, please don't message us with spoilers. You guys have been really great about, like, not doing that with Mighty Morphin as well.
Mm-hmm.
But just kind of as a general rule, I think that's pretty good.
Good rule to have.
So, Tim, this episode is called Riches and Rags.
It is.
Do you have any thoughts about what might happen?
I mean, it could be a lot of things.
It could.
I want to guess at the involvement of the prince.
Yes, Prince Philip is the rich character on the show. I would be shocked if he doesn't show up at some point.
But I mean, I suppose all we can do is wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, any character could, like, do something that leads to the involvement of Prince Philip.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, there's no real way of knowing.
It's the best thing to do is watch and find out.
Yeah, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go to... Because you may not be on the podcast for a while now.
That's true. It will probably be a while for me.
Do you want to talk about how terrible Batman vs Superman was?
No. No, because if you get me started...
We could go for so long.
I mean, did you guys talk about it?
No,
or had we not seen it yet?
Matt and I haven't recorded an episode since we've seen it.
Right.
And also, Matt hated it so much that I think he's incapable of talking about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring it up with him. He seemed quite angry.
And if we weren't so behind on recording that, I would record a special episode. Because I have so many questions that I'd love to puzzle out with you and him.
It was just trash.
Just not good at all. Well, actually, no. That's a lie. All the performances were good.
All the performances were good. It seems like they didn't pay a single person who wasn't an actor or a VFX specialist enough money to do a good job.
Yeah, that seems fair. Although that's unfair because, like, costuming and
okay. I'll say that costuming was off the cheese.
Let's rephrase that. They didn't pay anyone who can write a story.
But also, like, the action choreography was rubbish.
Yeah, but look, I believe that that's what Zack Snyder wanted. Anyway, let's see what we mean.
I'm making a face.
You started Daredevil. Daredevil's great.
I want it to pick up, to be honest. Like, I've only 2 episodes in,
yeah.
so that's fair.
Episode 3 is like...
Is the bomb.
That's the one that I sent Matt a message. It was like, holy shit, this episode is good. And I wasn't up to the thing that happens at the end yet.
Sure, okay.
The Flash is great. Legends of Tomorrow is great. The Flash Supergirl crossover
was good.
I know you haven't seen Flash or Supergirl.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I just don't care, but that's fine.
I understand that, but I think it stands beautifully as a contrast to Superman versus Batman.
Do you mean it's not entirely great?
Well, here's what I mean, Tim. I mean, like, the special effects, definitely a bit cheap. Like,
but it's a TV budget.
Yeah, but even for, like, compared to the special effects on regular episodes of The Flash, it didn't.
Right,
it felt
okay.
like a bit cheap.
Is that because they were asking too much, or it was just a bit average?
I think Supergirl's made on a smaller budget than The Flash.
Right,
and
okay.
This was technically an episode of Supergirl.
Okay, sure.
The Flash shows up. He and Supergirl are instantly best friends.
Okay.
There's a scene where they say, "How do we know that you're fast?" He goes and gets them ice cream, and the look on her face is the most delighted
I'm
anyone
fast.
has ever been on television.
I'm a fast guy.
They're both, like, happy to be there. There's no... Like, they don't even pretend that this is a thing that they have to fight about. They're just like, straight away, yeah, let's be best buds, and then are sad when he has to go back to his TV show at the end. It's like...
I mean, that does sound nice.
It's just, I think that's the perfect word. It's just a nice 45 minutes. And I hope they do a new one every year until I die and I'm sick of it. Like, I don't care. So that's great. Marvel Avengers Academy is a great mobile game that Tim hates.
It's not like I hate the game. I hate games like that on principle.
Why?
Because if I ever go near them, they will eat me.
Right, so it's how you feel. It's how I feel about alcohol.
I mean, yeah, I guess it is like that.
Okay. Alright, there we go. Yeah, you don't want to spend all your time sending the Avengers to high school. But if you do, this is the game.
Boy, oh boy, have I got something to show you.
Alright, I think that's been Michael Recommends Some Good Media.
Yep. MRSGM.
Sure.
A new segment on Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger. That's it.
Alright, I guess it's time to watch Riches and Rags.
I guess it is.
Have a guess. Which character does something bad?
Which character does something bad?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say Chase, but he's heavily featured in some episodes lately.
He's had a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have to issue a bit of a correction.
Ooh.
Last week in Home Run Coda,
Yes.
we said that Riley hadn't had an episode this season. But
Not
he had,
true, he did,
With a
yeah.
bully called
Who cares?
Bert, I think, who was definitely his gay lover. Anyway, that was an episode that happened on this show. So I feel like Kendall hasn't had an episode, really.
That is definitely true.
And I don't know if Ivan's had an episode.
No, it doesn't seem like it,
Shelby
does it?
had that one where she went to business school.
Yeah, I was thinking Shelby initially, but then I remembered that.
Riley had his one with Bert. Coda had the best episode of television ever.
Yeah.
Chase had that one where he went on Black Power Ranger dates.
Oh, boy.
Tyler had like 6 about his dad. So it really does feel like those guys are the guys who are left.
Yes.
So
I suppose we'll find out.
Yeah, alright, we're going to go watch that. You guys can too, obviously.
Absolutely.
And we should remind you that all of the first season of Ranger Danger is available on Netflix right now. If you're in, I guess, the US or Australia or maybe the UK as well.
When you say Ranger Danger, you don't mean that.
I meant Power Rangers Dino Charge.
There it is.
But I've been doing this podcast for so long that it's melted parts of my brain.
Well, I mean, that'll happen.
So you guys can find us on the internet, rangerdangerpodcast.com. We're at RangerDcast on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can email us. That's rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com. We're on YouTube and Stitcher and TuneIn and
We're on the places.
Greek flops or something.
Find our faces.
Yeah,
T-shirts, go.
yeah. Keep the bands on air.
We're on the places.
Find our faces. We'll be back in a sec.
Ranger danger, ranger danger.
I really liked that.
It was good. It was stupid, but it was good.
It was, again, like, just a dumb little one-off episode.
Yes.
But just
Which we really can't hold against them.
nice, like, well-structured, to the point, had one main character and gave several other characters a bit of the spotlight.
Yep.
Just
It was good. It was a good episode of
really
television.
Just a good little episode.
Mm.
Do you want to take it from the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the museum. Ivan is signing for a delivery.
Correct.
He first wants to sign with a quill,
Yep.
but he later learns that you can do that using your finger now,
Mhm.
and he is astonished.
He's astonished at his own magic signature powers.
I mean, to be honest, I'm sometimes pretty impressed by that stuff.
That's fair.
So, you know, it's his new training dummy, he
Yep.
thinks. He pulls it out of the box. It looks very much like a priceless artifact.
What?
But we're lucky it's his training dummy, because he just proceeds to go to town on it.
Yes, he does.
It's nice. So, on the evil ship,
Yep.
they've decided to try a combo monster.
Now, is this a thing?
It's never been a thing before.
Okay.
So, both the monsters that they make Spelldigger out of were monsters on the show before.
Mhm.
Spellbinder had, like, an amulet with mind control powers, and Golddigger, he could summon big stone slabs from the sky,
Right.
and also had lots of magic gold.
Sure.
So this makes mind controlling magic gold, which
Stands to reason.
I mean
Actually holds up.
is impressively consistent for this show. I think.
Absolutely.
So the coins are cursed.
Yes.
They make people greedy.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct.
Heckle doesn't trust Singe to pull this plan off,
Yeah.
which I'm fine with.
That's fine, yeah.
Except he does trust Fury to pull this plan off.
I felt a little let down by Singe in this moment where he's had so much presence in the past.
Yes.
And he didn't at all stand up for himself.
No. There's some interesting things happening with him at the end of the episode.
Yes, but we can get
talk
to
about
those.
it then. So anyway, Fury is kind of tentatively in charge of this plan.
Yes.
But we will see in a bit, this is a plan that Heckle himself is getting a bit hands-on in.
Fury does very little,
Yeah, realistically.
really.
So anyway, Ivan's cutting the shit out of his training dummy.
Yep.
When Kendall comes in, she's on the phone.
Yes.
Something priceless has gone missing.
Yes.
But it sounds like it maybe has already been delivered. And Coda's got a big box. He's got Ivan's training dummy.
But Ivan's already got his training
Yep.
dummy.
He done goofed, Tim.
Whoops.
So
Stupid ancient man.
it was indeed a priceless artifact. It was a suit of honour, older than Ivan.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, because he's 800 years old. And Ivan says, it may have been older than me, but it's not nearly as well built. Which is fair, because he's a strapping young lad.
That is true.
To be fair, though, it wasn't held in suspended animation inside a monster's chest for 800 years.
Yeah, so let's not be throwing stones.
I think someone says this is a valuable antique, and he says, well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, I wrote fucking zinger.
He's a little flippant about it.
Yeah, given what he's just done, which I don't think he quite realizes.
No, we do get, like, throughout the episode, he does understand what's going on.
Yes, but not at this point.
This is it's a fine setup. And I think the reason it works for me is that Ivan is 800 years old. If this was Shelby, it would be dumb for her to be that dumb.
Yes, yeah.
But, that's probably what training dummies looked like when Ivan last used a training dummy.
I mean, it wouldn't be, because there is no way that a dummy like that would hold up to swordage.
No, but, it's not, it's not weird or out of the question for him.
Yeah.
It's just a thing with a jacket on it. And, that could be a thing that you practice fighting on.
I mean, it seems unnecessary to fuck up a jacket.
Well, maybe you want to, see where you're stabbing or something. I don't know, I'm not a training dummy scientist.
I don't buy it, but I see your point.
Anyway, meanwhile, Heckle is just throwing gold out of Hessian sacks with green dollar signs on them.
From the back of a truck.
Which is the classic way to store gold coins, as everybody knows.
Well, how else would you store them?
I'm shocked that they didn't get stolen by a man wearing a black and white stripy shirt.
Yeah, that is a good point, actually. They really lucked out.
This is excellent. He's just having fun.
Literally just throwing gold to people on the street.
Yep. And people are getting them, and it's making them greedy.
How do we know they're greedy?
Well, they're quite upset about paying $6 for a burger and $2 for a drink.
I mean, that does seem steep.
Does it?
No.
Like...
No, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty great.
I buy a fair share of hamburgers.
Yeah, and pay twice that?
If I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Like, a good burger will set you... And I know we're talking about, like, differences in price between countries.
Yes.
But at least in Australia, $6 probably buys you, like, a medium meal from McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you get a Big Mac and fries, that, I imagine, comes to, like, $7 or $8.
Yes.
Right? So... $6 for a burger at a tourist destination.
Seems pretty good.
It sounds amazing.
How else do we know they're magically greedy?
Oh, their eyes glow green with dollar signs.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Never mind.
Look, obviously on the nose, but this is a show for 5-year-olds.
I mean, yeah, that
and
is
it's not
that
like
is
they
true.
do it all the time.
And you know what? The VFX were nice.
Yeah.
It was
like,
nicely done.
Just a nice little effect.
Well, nice big effect.
It's not...
Quite large dollar sign eyes, hard to miss.
Okay, it's not subtle. Yeah, so the $6 burger man tries to pay with some coins.
Some magic coins.
Tyler and Chase are working the counter.
Yes?
They grab them. Now they're magically greedy.
How do we know?
Glowing green dollars.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Yeah. So we meet a fancy rich man.
A fancy rich asshole.
A fancy rich asshole. His name is Mr. Smith.
Lazy.
Come on, guys. Just like...
Anything else.
Mr. Huntington Smythe.
Literally any other name than Smith.
Yeah. Anyway, he owned the training dummy.
He did.
And was loaning it to the museum.
He was.
And so because it's been destroyed by the museum, he wants the value of the item.
Which is fair.
$2 million. I guess if it's 900 years old, it's irreplaceable.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
So, like, you're really paying for emotional something. Wouldn't the museum have insurance?
Yeah, almost definitely.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure museum insurance is an incredibly complicated field.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're dealing with, like, one-of-a-kind or very few-of-a-kind priceless artifacts.
That are usually very fragile and stuff like that.
Just statistically, it seems like stuff probably gets destroyed at museums occasionally.
Yes.
And it seems like the sort of thing that the museum should have insurance to deal with.
And yet.
But it doesn't seem to. So, if he doesn't get his $2 million, and he won't just accept an apology, he will take the museum, and he will sell it off.
Now,
and apparently live in it.
Now, how is he... Here's what I don't get.
Yeah.
How is he going to take the museum?
Well, I imagine the museum owns him money. If the museum can't pay it back, he can claim it from their assets.
Right, but that's different to taking the building.
Well, but the building would be one of their assets.
Right, but it just seems like taken for granted that he gets to have the museum. Like, he's not a repo man. Like, the whole museum isn't on loan from him and he can't just redact that.
No, but if they owe him a debt and he, like... It's not weird, like, if someone can't pay a debt, you can take their car and sell it. That's why we have repo men.
Well, yeah, I know, but it... Can I do that to someone if they owe me money?
I believe so.
Can I just, like, straight take someone's car?
Yeah, you can send things to debt collectors.
Fucking 2016, you guys.
You cannot just take their car.
No, obviously, you cannot just go and rack someone's car.
But yeah, I don't think it would be uncommon for people's assets to be sold.
Right.
I do think it would be shocking if the museum was only worth $2 million.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Like, at least in Australia, a house, just a house, will cost you $1 and a bit. So
even a house with a dinosaur in it,
yeah,
you think that'd be
seems
two on the
that's
nose
$2
at
million.
least.
The idea that what seems to be a multi-story building with an operating cafe and secret base underneath
Is worth $2 million.
That's got to go for the tens, surely.
You'd hope so, right?
But I kind of buy maybe that like they'll have to sell the museum because they don't have $2 million worth of stuff, and then he's going to buy it just to spite them.
Sure, potentially.
And look, as much as normally I would get cross at a show for glossing over details, I don't think this show needs to go like they.
Well, it's not important.
No, they owe him $2 million, and the thrust of that is if they cannot pay,
We
he will
lose
get
the museum. Yeah.
Right? For like whatever that actually means.
It is not important.
That's the emotional core of it. So Kendall says, right, great, we're fucked. I'm going to go deal with that.
Fair enough.
Ivan, Tyler and Chase have apparently gone missing. Can you go find them?
Go find them, yeah.
And Ivan says, have I ever let you down? And she just looks at the dummy.
It's good. It's good.
She gets some great facial expressions this episode.
Yeah.
Like it's not really a Kendall episode, but it's probably the closest one has come.
Yes.
And I like her and Ivan bouncing off each other.
Yeah, they're good together.
The only thing this episode is missing is more Coda. But
That's true, but we did get Home Run Coda last week.
Last
so...
week he got to be a national, maybe?
Oh, who
baseball
fucking
celebrity.
knows? Don't get into it.
So, yeah, it seems not unfair that he gets 2 lines this week. Anyway, so Tyler and Chase see Heckle.
Yes.
And they're like, well, we've got to figure out what he's up to. And he's over in a corner with Spellcaster. Or, no, Spell Digger. Spell Digger.
Now, he gives an instruction to Spell Digger.
That instruction is, act natural, the Rangers are watching.
Seems legit.
This is amazing.
It's a special moment.
So Heckle says, look, I need more coins.
I'm out of coins.
Can you get more coins? And Spelldigger says, sure, I'll just go back to my vast treasure. And Heckle says, that's great. So can you go get me some more coins?
I need more coins.
Right, I will get them from my vast treasure. And then runs past the Rangers, and as he does, says, I'm off to my vast treasure.
So special.
It's amazing.
So good.
It's really when these monsters get like one quirk, that's all it needs to really elevate it.
Because you haven't got enough time for more than that.
No, and like, look, he's going to go down like a chump at the end of this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But I love this guy.
Yeah, we might as well enjoy him while we've got him.
It's just, like, of course he'd be bad at acting. Why would he be good at acting? It doesn't.
It's so unnecessary, yeah.
But just a great little beat. I really liked it. So Tyler and Chase do still have the foresight to say it may be a trap.
But they need those dollar coins.
Also, they may be rich. So,
You gotta do what you gotta do.
worth it. Oh, and there's Fury as well. He's there.
Whatever, forgettable.
The actor playing Heckle must be quite tall. Because he stands, like, above Fury's eye level. And Fury is already, like, feels like a tall monster.
Sure, but why does he feel like that?
I don't know. I presume that when we've seen him with other Rangers, he's been quite tall. I don't know if he's just been shot that way, or if the stuntman is a different person in the suit this week. But, like, that guy must be pretty tall. Or maybe everyone's, like, 5 feet.
Maybe everyone's tiny, yeah.
Everyone's really... Anyway, so Ivan's chasing Tyler and Chase. Chase's money face, phenomenal.
So good.
So as Ivan runs, Fury, it's his turn. So he's like, right, Ivan, let's go. Ivan gets in a great dig. He says, you should see what happened to the last dummy who stepped in my way.
Fucking zinger.
Especially because Fury is the worst.
Yeah.
So Ivan gets a running morph, which is nice.
It is cool, yeah.
And he and Fury start to fight. It's a fine fight. There's nothing really worth talking about.
Yeah, it's fine.
So Tyler and Chase find some piles of coins.
They do.
They're pretty happy.
Pretty stoked.
And then little Rexy bounces in.
Oh my god. I don't know how I feel about
We
this.
get a couple of shots of, like, little Rexy as a puppet
Mm,
with his mouth.
so obviously just the toy.
I love it.
It's rubbish.
I entirely unironically love it. I cannot explain why it is that actually, no. You know what? I can. It's because at the start of the season, Tyler was like, Rexy, you and I are friends. And then that was like, he was just his Zord.
Yeah.
And then he got a thing that turned him into a little thing, and then turned him into a morpher, and then turned him into a super suit.
It makes sense that they would have some kind of relationship.
And that was great. And now the idea that Rexy is just like
Hanging out
a mate who just sometimes shows up to help.
is pretty good,
I
you're right.
love it. And especially, I'm a sucker for a puppet,
Yeah.
right? And just, like, the way it's shot, so he's, like, moving back and forth by someone who's just pushing him off screen.
Yeah, just like right off screen too.
It's just, I really, really
Special.
enjoyed it.
Very special.
Look, if you don't like it, I understand.
It's kind of fair enough, hey?
I understand, but you are wrong, because it's the best. Alright, so he wants Tyler and Chase to follow him.
Yes.
And so they do. So the greed is not all-encompassing.
No, just really it's greed within an eye line.
Yeah. If they're not looking at the goal,
You're all good.
they'll be okay. So Rexy jumps in to protect Ivan, which I think is part of it as well. You know, just the idea that he's just a little dude who's on their team. Imagine if Rexy was the dude on their team instead of Keeper. Who, by the way, does not show up this episode.
Thank God.
Anyway, Rexy jumps in, does his spinny attack, like, protects Ivan, and then Tyler comes in, he's got Puppet Rexy again, he's like, right, let's go into Supercharge, does his Supercharge. Fury, even with his two swords, absolutely no match for that mode.
Still wrecked. Still ruined.
I don't know why they don't just start in that mode every time.
I mean, that's true. Just get things done, you know?
So anyway, Fury teleports away, and Tyler and Chase are instantly back to the coins.
Yeah.
It's excellent. Alright, so Ivan considers using the monster's gold.
He does.
But he's an honourable person.
He's a Knight of Xandar.
And it's evil gold.
I mean, that is fair.
So, like...
Doesn't seem like the right way to solve the problem.
No, but he does know where there is some gold he could get.
Yep.
I know we love Coda, but Ivan is such a good character.
Yeah, Ivan is definitely up there with Coda.
It seems unfair too for them to be my favourites because they're obviously playing with a stacked deck. They've got their gimmick that, like, they can run with.
Yeah.
And it leads them to comedic scenes more often.
Yeah, obviously.
In a way that, like, Riley being the science guy
doesn't lead to
get.
jokes, yeah.
But, oh god, this is so good. So he's at the bank of Amber Beach.
Yes.
And he just requests 1 bar of gold.
As you do, I guess.
Just a bar. He left a bar of gold in this bank many years ago, which doesn't make sense. It actually must have been another bank. It can't have been this bank.
Yeah, maybe he just has no concept of different banks.
Yeah, that's possible. But he doesn't know his account number. When she asked, I was kind of expecting him to say, like, 7.
Yeah.
But no, he doesn't know his account number. He has no ID. Oh, he does have ID, Tim. What's his ID?
It's on his. It's on his sword.
Tim, how well does everyone take a sword being pulled out at the bank?
Okay, imagine someone pulling a sword out at the bank.
Yep.
About that well.
Yeah, they push the panic button.
Yeah, well, I mean, fair cop.
This is not a bank with one of those, like, plexiglass
Screens? No.
He could just have gutted this woman if he were a monster. Like,
Yeah, true.
Anyway, she hits the alarm. He
promptly walks
He
out.
doesn't quite understand what he's done, I don't think.
But he knows it's go
He
time.
does understand that the alarm means don't stick around. So when he gets back to the base, the other rangers are inventorying the museum.
Yes.
So what they've got is the stuff that the museum could afford to spare and still have, like,
A collection.
a collection. But even if they sell all that stuff, they're still not going to have $2 million.
This isn't how the problem goes away.
No. Which is a bit of a bummer for everyone.
Yes.
So Tyler and Chase show up, and they have pockets full of gold.
So full.
All that gold falls out, and everyone is very confused.
This is correct.
Shelby goes to grab one of the gold coins, and Kendall goes, no, hold on.
Don't touch them.
Something's up. Remember that thing with the sleepy time pillows last time?
They should send her out more often,
I'm
frankly.
gonna get on this from the start. She picks one up with some tongs. I don't even remember what she says.
It doesn't matter. She goes, look, these are probably magic.
And takes off her glasses like she's David Caruso. I wish there was some excuse for them to start playing a bit of The Who. I know they could never justify it, but it's excellent. Alright, so at the front of the museum, it's Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
And he wants this half of the museum demolished to make room for his swimming pool.
I think we could do that. Says, I don't know, an architect.
So Ivan says, look, I definitely do not have $2 million. But I do have something I can offer you.
Yes.
Myself.
Your protection for the rest of my life.
I will serve you, I'll have Sundays off.
Every other Sunday.
Well, you know, yeah.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. But luckily his personal assistant, who's a lady in like a black bob and dark sunglasses.
She does more than take notes, Michael.
Yeah, she's a cat woman.
It's kind of stupid.
She's got very long, pointy fingernails.
You couldn't get a lady who actually did a martial art?
And like, yeah, she's doing like, if you said, Michael, do a martial arts stance, she's doing that.
Yeah, it was...
And making like, definitely more cat noises than kung fu noises.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a bit dumb, but...
Maybe if she did actual martial arts, it would be cool and we wouldn't hate her.
Yeah. It's just, you know what it is? It's too many things. It's the nails and the voice and the kung fu.
That's true.
Like, one of those gimmicks would be alright.
Yeah, you really can't have all three.
Anyway. So, on the ship, Speldinger's pendant, which used to just hypnotise people, has now become a portal
Yep.
to another dimension that
Yep.
can't be escaped from.
Yep. So, standard fare, really.
So Wrench is just brilliant at his job.
Mm.
Anyway, so back at the base, they've done some science. The
Yeah.
greens have been encoded,
Now that I hate.
and they affect the greed part of your brain.
They're so specifically magic.
Yeah.
And then through code, they affect your brain.
Yep, that's how that works. And so, I don't even know who, it might be Shelby, says, well look, there's lots of gold coins.
Why don't we just use them?
And I know they're evil gold coins, but this would be doing good with them. So that's almost better than using regular money, isn't it?
Not sure, Shelby, but I like your thinking.
And I think Kendall says, like, we have to stop the monster anyway.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that, so we might as well grab his stash of gold coins, I guess.
I suppose so.
So it's time to go after Spelldigger. But the trail of gold coins splits in two.
Whoop.
And, man, Dumb Tyler
Pretty good.
is the best. Like when he was Dumb Tyler in Riley's Spotlight episode.
Yes.
It's just... It's just an extra little bit of something.
Yeah, he's good at it.
Because he says, well, maybe there's two treasures. And Riley says to him, yeah, I mean, it seems much more likely that there's just two traps.
Which is sensible.
Yep, so Riley and Shelby go on one, and Coda and Ivan go on the other after Chase and Tyler.
Yes.
That is not the groups I would have sent them in.
How would you send them?
Well, I would not send the... Oh, God. You made me gone. I would not send the caveman and the knight
Off on their own.
off on their own with the two who are affected by the greed magic, and send the only two sensible 21st century adults together.
Yeah, I suppose that is fair.
Anyway, it's lucky Riley and Shelby are together because they stumble across Spelldigger.
Yes.
They shoot him, but he absorbs it into the portal.
Yep.
They all shoot him, but he absorbs it into the portal.
Yep.
And Tyler's like, right, let's just get this done. So the portal starts pulling them. That's kind of a cool effect.
You mean... Sorry, you mean a dude off camera with a fire extinguisher?
Yeah, but also, like, we get a swirly wind effect, and there's, like, their acting being pulled.
It's alright.
They sell those things enough.
Okay.
Look, Tyler goes directly into T-Rex Supercharge. He grabs the pink on one arm and the aqua on the other arm, and just bashes the shit out of the portal until it stops working.
Yep.
Which is great.
Problem solved.
And then just blows him up.
Yep, also problem solved.
Yep. Which is a little cheap.
But I didn't mind, to be honest. Like, I was kind of enjoying the episode, and labouring on that fight wouldn't have added much.
I think that's the thing you said is, if there's nothing to the episode, give me a great monster fight and a great Megazord fight.
And I'll be happy.
But if you've already got, like, 17 minutes of actually good episode,
Yeah.
just
Let me watch that.
Get it out of the way. I'd rather watch a good episode than it would be good to get a great monster fight occasionally.
It would.
But in this case, I was perfectly happy with it.
Yep.
So Spelldigger is dead,
Yes?
and that means all his gold falls from the sky
Hey!
and then disappears.
Ah.
Oh no.
Well, look, it was evil gold.
It was evil gold, yep.
Didn't really seem like an ideal
Like leprechaun
solution.
gold, it dissolves as soon as you kill the leprechaun.
Sorry?
I'm sorry,
Excuse me?
It's not quite how that works.
What?
It's like Grunchkin gold.
No.
Mah.
Stop.
The Grunchkin is a fictional character that Timothy and I have
These
invented.
good people don't deserve that.
Mah. That's the sound that Grunchkin makes.
I wish you'd stop.
Hashtag Grunchkin.
I wish you'd stop.
Alright. You love the Grunchkin.
Hashtag keep the Grunchkin on air.
So Spelldigger is giant now.
Yep. Not dead.
Look, this is barely even worth discussing. Rexy attacks in his giant form.
Yep.
And then they just make the black and purple Megazord. It's Ivan's turn to do the special magical super sword.
Shoots him.
And then he's dead.
You know what? I do really resent that the magical sword is just a gun. Like, I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Anyway,
Indeed.
Alright, so on the evil spaceship,
Yep.
Fury's pretty pissed.
Yep.
Heckle's not going to be kind to him after another failure.
Fair enough.
But Singe is doing something strange. He seems to be talking to someone.
Yeah, he's on Skype.
He is. And he calls that person Sir.
Mm.
And he's definitely... What he says is, Heckle is on Earth, he's after the Energems too.
You can trust me is in there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So, Fury says to him, who are you talking to? And Singe says, oh, it's my grandmother. And Fury says, you call your grandmother Sir?
Good line.
Yep. I assume this is Sledge?
Do you?
I mean, who else could it be?
I don't know, someone new?
I guess, but why would you introduce someone new for the last half of the show?
Well, yeah, that's a fair point.
And given that they explicitly have said that there were no Sledge remains...
Oh, then, like, why would you bring it up?
Yeah, it just seems like the logical answer for who this is Sledge, who's, I guess, has maybe sent Singe in as a double agent.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Like, find out what's going on, get their trust, and then Singe can come back and take over.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I guess, who knows, like, maybe he's working for Coda.
Don't ruin Coda like that. He's too pure and sweet.
Okay, that's fair. Riley.
Yeah, better.
Better. Yeah, okay, so we don't really get any resolution there. But it's interesting that at the start of this episode we were talking about how we didn't have many overarching plots left.
Yes.
But this clearly is giving
They go ahead and
something.
give us one.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
So Mr. Smith shows up, and it's D-Day.
Mm-hmm.
Ivan begs.
He implores him.
Like, he just properly, please. And he says, I'm not going to be generous. I'm a rich asshole.
Yep, pretty much.
And he says, I want my 2 million. And then from off screen, a voice says, then you shall have it.
Prince
I
Philip.
like Prince Philip.
Good guy. I don't remember him looking like that.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah, but I guess it's been a while.
It has. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. He was
No.
in that episode where we met Tyler's dad.
That's true.
So,
Just only for like a single shot.
yeah, more or less. So the police called Prince Philip about the incident at the bank.
Which is fair.
Yeah, and I think it's Kendall who says, "Wait, the bank, what?"
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, "No, we'll get to that. That's fine."
Yeah.
So remember that gold bar that he had in the bank?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's been collecting interest for 800 years.
Uh-huh.
How much is that interest worth, Tim?
Well, Kendall,
Yeah.
who seems to have very intimate knowledge of 800 years of foreign banking interest rates, calculates very quickly that it is just over $2 million.
I mean, so here's the thing, right? If you get 1.2%, like 0.2% 2% interest.
There it is. Yep.
Per annum.
Yeah.
For 800 years.
Yeah.
That multiplies the value of your thing by like 7 million.
Mm-hmm.
So even if a bar of gold
Was worth not very much.
and you've got to assume that they're getting a pretty good, like a reasonable interest rate, it would definitely be worth more than 2 million. It would be a ridiculous coincidence for it to be just a little more than 2 million.
I think just a little more is your way of solving. It's worth exactly $2 million.
Yeah, that would be nonsense.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like, what if it was worth a little less, but Ivan had been saving his paychecks or something? Like,
No, because I just feel like if you're gonna Deus Ex it,
okay, just
like why stuff around? What difference does it make?
All right, so Prince Philip, he's come and he's just come with a check for
Yeah.
$2 million.
Just walking around
It can
with
just
that.
be removed from Xandar's economy willy-nilly.
Well, I mean, not from the economy, from the bank. Like,
I guess, but like,
you telling me the bank doesn't have $2 million they can blow?
I mean, Xandar is a small country.
Yeah, but banks are banks.
Anyway, so Mr. Smith says to him, like, which is, I think, a really good question for a character written like this.
Yes.
He says, that's $2 million. The museum isn't yours.
You could let me have the museum and you would have $2 million.
And would that not be, like, fine? And that's a surprisingly incisive question.
Yes.
Like, I really appreciated that. It gives, like, him some character.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not just greedy. He's, like, greedy, but...
This is what you would do. This is what a person like him would do.
Yeah, so why would you not do it? And Ivan says, but then we'd lose the museum and we'd all be poorer for it.
Boom. Also, like, I think he lives there. So he's got a bit higher stake in it than anyone else might.
But, like, great message for kids.
Yes.
Like,
The museum is
the
important.
museum is important. Great justification of that.
Yeah, no, these are my friends doesn't really hold up.
Yeah, just nice. And so Mr. Smith walks out with the check.
Well, he almost walks out.
And then he turns around. He's had a bit of a change of heart. He didn't really love that thing anyway. That is what we get. He didn't love the thing anyway, and seeing Ivan be so selfless has inspired him a little.
Bit of metanoia.
And also, like, he doesn't need another $2 million.
In a rare turn from a rich asshole.
Yeah. This was nice, right?
I mean, it was funny. I didn't want to enjoy it.
So what we get is them going back and forth.
Giving the check to each other.
So it starts with, like, hand to hand, and then into pockets.
It's just a series of close-ups of them tucking this folded check into shirt pockets, in between buttons, under
there's
bow
two
ties.
standouts. One is when he puts it into Ivan's pocket and zippers it closed.
And Ivan squeals.
He goes, woo! which is excellent. And then when he puts it under Mr. Smith's hat.
Yeah, under the hat
puts
is the other good
back
one.
on. It's just, it's the dumbest slapstick.
Like I said, I didn't want to enjoy it, but I couldn't help it.
And then Miss Sandra, he's like, well, you give it to him. And then she chases him like a cat. That bit doesn't land for me at all.
It's kind of weird.
And that's the end of the
But
episode.
we made it, yeah.
I really liked
It was good television tonight. It was good.
Just like a couple of good jokes, a sensible plot that holds up to scrutiny.
Yeah.
No dumb questions about how big the baseball team actually is.
Yeah, none of that confusion. Although maybe there's a similar thing on the value of the museum, but it didn't hold us back.
Anyway, Tim, let's talk Ranger Danger Dino Charge creature feature.
Let's do it.
So, I will tell you that Gold Digger was already our number 6.
Okay.
Spellbinder was at number 23, very close to the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Our top 5...
Yeah, read them out.
Puzzler, Robot, Sheer Fear, Singe, and Game Face.
I'll say this.
Mhm.
Singe is slipping.
He is, but I'm going to give him another episode before we adjust.
That's fair, because seems like he'll be doing something important.
Here's what I'm going to say. He didn't have as much personality as Game Face.
Right.
The plane was good, but not really his.
Yep.
But he's definitely better than regular Gold Digger. So it seems like, I mean, just for that acting scene alone.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So
Just slot him in above Gold
I feel
Digger?
like above regular Gold Digger seems like a really good position.
Which you would hope, if you're
Yeah.
going to bother with a combo monster.
So that's him at number 6.
Nice one.
Yeah. Alright, before we get to the end, let's talk Fantasy Zordon for the mid-season finale.
Let's do it.
Now, before we tally our scores...
Yep.
Currently, your team is ahead by 7 points.
Okay.
141 to 134.
Okay.
Now, you didn't have a great week this week.
I've had a rubbish week this week.
You had a particularly bad week because 2 of your Rangers showed up and also did barely anything, right?
Pretty much.
So, let's talk points. What have you got?
Okay, so I've got... From Coda and Riley, I have a power-up mode and nothing else. So that's
They
2
were
points.
No Megazords. They were barely in the episode, frankly.
Yeah. So that's 2 points from each of them. I have 2 points from Kendall for being in a Megazord formation.
Yep.
And then I have a grand total of none points from Prince Weenie
Because he just makes an appearance at the end.
Yeah, for rocking up and doing nothing of value. So that's a total of 6 points.
That's a rough week.
It's tough, especially after last week.
And I gotta be honest, this is going to be so close.
What have you got?
Well, Chase was in a power-up mode and part of a Megazord formation.
Yes.
Which is 4 points for Chase. Shelby entered a power-up mode and was also part of the T-Rex Supercharge combination weapon.
That's true.
That's 4 points for her as well. The Aqua Ranger didn't appear in the episode, but also was part of a combination weapon.
Yes, technically.
Which is
You fucker.
a nice little 4 points for him as well. And my Silver Ranger was not talked about at all for 14 points. So...
Does no one have Ivan?
No one has Ivan or Tyler. Because as the main Ranger and main 6th Ranger, they were going to be a little too special.
I mean, that seems fair.
So, let's talk about, at the end of this season, or this half season, I guess.
Yes.
The lowest number of points anyone is on is 132.
Okay.
The highest number of points is 163.
Now, I know I've asked this before. Is that an ideal team, or is it not?
It's not an ideal team, I don't believe. I think looking at it now, the ideal team would be black, pink, purple, and aqua.
Interesting.
Which...
is one from each of us.
Yes, and is not the team that the people on 163 have.
Right.
For the record, the least ideal team then, obviously, is blue, green, graphite, and silver.
Love having 3 out of 4 of those.
And no one has that team either. So, between 136 points and 163 points. We're both in the middle,
Yep.
around 150.
Yep.
Your team is on 147.
Mm-hmm.
My team sits on 148. So at the mid-season finale,
It's neck and neck.
it's absolutely anyone's. We might as well reset the points and start again. Is how close it is.
Yeah. So, what have we got? 12 more episodes?
12 more episodes plus possibly 2 specials.
Right.
Last season had a Christmas and Halloween special. Those are generally clip shows
Okay.
or like light episodes.
Sure.
So not necessarily a ton of new points, but we tend to get a Megazord fight, so there's room for points there.
Fair enough.
But I don't know if we've got those this season. So there's between 12 and 14 more episodes. It's absolutely anyone's game.
Yeah, for sure.
We've both been in the lead
At
this
different
season.
times, yeah.
So, I mean, if the Silver Ranger shows up and has some good weeks,
That could push you over.
if the Silver Ranger never shows up...
Which
that
seems
could-
odd.
Well, who knows? That could really let me down.
I mean,
So-
given how quickly Tyler's dad came and went, it wouldn't be hard to fit another Ranger into the next 12
I
episodes.
mean, that's certainly true. Maybe Sledge is working for the Singe is working for the Silver Ranger. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Maybe Keeper sends the Silver Ranger away as well. Fucking asshole.
Right, well, we've got 4 months to think about that,
Yeah.
probably. This show won't be back until August or so.
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger will keep going.
Of course.
In that time. We may do some special episodes that come out on this day of the week during the hiatus.
Mhm.
I'm not committing to... We're pretty behind in our recording at the moment. And Matt's going through some stuff. It's not my place to go into it.
He's a
but
busy bee, though.
He's a busy fellow. So, look, Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger isn't going to go bi-weekly or anything like that. But I would like for us to do a special episode or 2 in the gap.
Sure.
But we will obviously talk about that on episodes of Mighty Morphin.
That is correct.
You can keep in touch with us on our Facebook's probably the best place to follow us.
Mhm.
I'm on Facebook quite a bit for work, and Matt's on Facebook quite a bit for just because. I should let you know, if you tweet, you may not get it. Like, I don't check Twitter all the time, so I may not respond for a while. But I do try to reply to everyone who tweets at us.
Easy.
If you send us an email, I don't reply to them all if we're going to read them on air. And I also have a weird anxiety that means I have trouble reading emails. But we do see them all and we do really appreciate them.
There you go.
So we will be back with Ranger Danger Dino Supercharge in probably August.
Okay.
But more details on that as they come.
Sure.
In the meantime, we'll see you guys with Mighty Morphin. And I hope the rest of the season is this good.
Beep, beep, boop, bop, beep, bop.
That's the other podcast.
Oops, sorry.
Do-da-do-da-do-da-do-da.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.